let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Filling up with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh, magic. No, I'm never letting go. Now that I have it with you. When you kiss me, it's like the stars fall out the sky onto my heart to cover up what I don't wanna show. I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Filling up with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, yeah, you take me higher, baby.
Welcome to Radical Truth to Power, the progressive news show of lesbianery. I am your host, Marlon Climate, along with Anna Hart, as you've seen, along with Tracy Carson and Theas Robinson. Tonight's show is going to be a smorgasbord of different topics, and a little something for everyone, especially everybody that's on the panel, including Theas, whose topic is not going to come until we get to Foxy's videos of the week. So, how is everybody doing tonight?
The NFL is on crack.
Why can't it be meth?
The NFL is on
Why
crack.
can't it be weed?
Crack.
Why it can't be Percocets and
18
opioids?
missed field goals. San Francisco loses to the Bears. Green Bay loses to Minnesota. LA loses to... I'm just... Crack.
Hey,
Crack.
didn't the 49ers is a team that disrespected Colin Kaepernick and led the charge with the NFL disrespecting the black community, right?
Incorrect. He has to be released. Because remember, it was him and Ed Reed that did the kneeling.
Okay, so they didn't fire him.
No, he has to be released.
Oh. Okay.
No, the NFL just made it hard for him to get back into the league.
Yeah, that's the part.
Well, I'm still, F the NFL anyway. I don't care. All the teams. I hope every team loses. I hope every team loses to every team. Like, nobody wins, right? That's what I want.
So you want 0-16 for every team?
0-17.
Oh, yeah, all of them.
Well, you got your wish. The Colts and Houston tied.
I forgot the Colts was a team.
I'm in Indianapolis and I forgot.
But the Atlanta Falcons, you know, they do what they do.
They lost too.
There's some things that are consistent.
Hey, Carolina.
They had that. They literally had that game.
Don't worry about it, Anna. You ain't got to know anything about football
Just
to
know,
understand.
if you know, yeah, and you know who the Harlem Globetrotters are. You don't. Wait a minute.
The Harlem Globetrotters?
You don't know who the Harlem Globetrotters are.
I'm trying to figure out where you're going with this reference.
Wait a minute. I just want to make sure.
And everything.
Have you heard of the Harlem Globetrotters?
I'm sorry. I did not hear that correctly. Yes, I've seen the Harlem Globetrotters
Okay. So there's this team
in person and love them.
There's this team that always loses to the Harlem Globetrotters called the Washington Generals. That's the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, okay.
I ain't finna take crap from somebody who don't even remember they have their own team. Let's get this party
started. That's not my
started.
team. They just in the same city that I live in.
Whatever. Let's get this party started. Okay.
I'm going to channel my inner Lauren Boebert. The only reason Tracy likes the 49ers is because she supports Nancy Pelosi. And Nancy Pelosi is part of the radical left liberals who are trying to take over everything.
Did Mickey say she dated a Harlem Globetrotter for us? I'm learning something about you every single day, Mickey. Cut.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Thiz, that we had to cut you off, but it was my head beginning to hurt. So thank you.
Whatever.
Tracy's up first.
Are you a toaster? Because I want to take a bath with you. Haha, nice one. It would be pretty electrifying. Sparks would be flying for sure. You could say there's a spark between us? Yeah, I definitely sense a connection. I have a socket that you could plug into, and then OP tries the exact same pickup line on another woman. Are you a toaster? Because I'd like to take a bath with you. That's how my dad died. So you want to take me out the same way? What the f*** is wrong with you? Listen.
Why is that for me?
Because you like little cheesy lines.
No, I don't. Not that.
Are you a toaster?
I thought this was supposed to be an open forum. How are we talking about toasters in the bathtub, man?
I'm opening up to.
We gonna shut off your internet. You know what? You don't need YouTube. You need YouTube for this, but you don't need to be able to search none of these Reddits.
I don't know why that was for me.
Because nobody liked that one.
The whole thing was bad.
Tracy.
I'm with Tracy. The whole thing was bad.
Really? Nobody liked that one?
Not a bit.
Not even a bit. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Fine. We'll move on.
Pick the renewed mind is the key guy.
Ever did what?
The renewed mind is the key guy. The one that Thea said was auditioning to be a praise dancer.
Oh, wow.
I don't remember that.
The boy in the middle, he did the moonwalk, and he did the Bobby Brown, and
You talking about that church video?
Yes.
Oh, I don't never need to see that again. That was bad. That wasn't as bad as the evil toddler, but it was bad.
Nothing is gonna be bad as that evil toddler.
You know what? Desperate times.
It ain't that desperate.
Call for
another video.
Years ago, I worked in tech support for a large financial institution, and my colleague took a phone call from an end user who was struggling to input a wire transfer for her customer. His encounter with the user was so epic, my colleague knew instantly that no one would believe it actually happened. So he printed out his submitted call record as proof of the conversation. I kept a copy of it for years and would glance at it every once in a while if I needed a good laugh. Here's a rough summary of the conversation. This is tech support. How can I help you? Yeah, my customer is doing a wire transfer to New Mexico and I'm having trouble entering it into the system. What trouble are you having? I'm choosing the option for international, but when I type New Mexico as the location, an error tells me I have to choose domestic for the type of transfer. Okay, so what's the issue? It's to New Mexico. Why is it telling me to choose domestic? My colleague thinks for a second. Wait, what? You're sending it to New Mexico? Yes. Okay. So, are you going to help me? I'm not sure what your issue is, ma'am. You're sending it to New Mexico, so that would be a domestic wire transfer. But it's New Mexico. Yes, New Mexico. New Mexico, sir. Mexico isn't in the United States. Ma'am, New Mexico is one of the 50 states. If you're sending the wire to Mexico, you can select international, but if it's one of the 50 states, which New Mexico is, then you need to select domestic. I don't understand why you don't understand what I'm saying. It's New Mexico. Yes, New Mexico. If you want to help your customer, then please select domestic, and it should let you finish that wire transfer. Eventually, the girl relented and submitted the wire transfer as she was instructed. It's still not clear to my colleague whether she realized her mistake, or if she just did what she was told to so her customer wouldn't get angry with the amount of time this was taking.
The NFL is on crack. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Tracy, let's talk about the NFL. You know,
Oh my God.
You cannot be so dumb that you think that New Mexico is New Mexico.
That's what that okay. Let's just go back. I know y'all don't like that video, but somebody explained that to me why she thought repeating New Mexico was somehow was being missed, like the word new was the word that was the guy wasn't understanding. Like I got Mexico, but it's New Mexico.
Somebody said, I'll give you $5 if you go mess with a customer service agent.
Yep. That's what it was. I agree with Anna.
Yeah, there's one video where
y'all acting like we don't live in a country where most people, I would even say most people, couldn't even give you all 50 states if you gave them unlimited time to do it.
you didn't got to do that.
No, I probably could. I mean, yeah, I could if I sat and put some thought to it, because I would go in alphabetical order.
Yeah, I can't put them on the map for you. I don't know where they sit, but I can give you.
That's what I was going to say.
All
There are
50
people
states.
that walk. There are people that walk around and show you a state and ask you what's this state. And if it's not California or Texas or Florida
or someplace you live
or someplace that you live, then no.
I do get the Dakotas confused though. I confuse them all the time.
But you know that there's two of them.
Yeah, I do know there's two of them.
So the problem with this is like you have people who just don't think of certain things. Like some people may not think of Connecticut or Rhode Island or
Vermont,
Vermont, yeah, or Arizona, Arkansas. Well, they'll probably think of Arizona, but New Mexico would be something they just never thought about. Idaho.
No, it's New Mexico.
So yeah, I'm just saying. I've learned not to underestimate how stupid people can be, or stupid is not actually fair for this one. How ignorant a person can be.
Don't she know? She knows what Google. You can look on your map, type in New Mexico, and then it would say whatever state they were.
You wouldn't do that if you wouldn't do that though if you think you're right. And this is a person obviously who is so arrogant in how they believe that they are right that they don't cross-reference anything. I mean, the system paused you. The system said, "Wait a minute, you are trying to send an international wire to a domestic destination. Start over."
Or should you say New Mexico is a state, not a country?
And that's what the IT person should have done. See, I'm sorry, I can't turn off being a dad, and I can't turn off being a manager. And I'm just like, That's not how I want you to handle it. Oh, y'all hear that static?
Yeah, there's some static.
Wait a minute, it
somewhere.
might be me.
But yeah, I'm just like, early on, when you realize this lady wasn't getting it, you say, ma'am, it's a domestic wire because New Mexico is part of the United States. Yeah, you hear that?
Just static.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, that's not me.
Hold on. Let's. I don't know where it's coming from, dude.
Yeah,
It's
I
coming
thought it
from-
might be my fan, but I turned off my mic and it was still doing it.
Yeah, I got a fan on.
That's
No, 'cause
weird.
it's
Oh,
not-
well.
Oh well, it's Sunday. Let's just get power through it. So the next story, it is kind of long, but it's kind of not. Well, no, I'm gonna skip that one. I'm gonna go to this one that's okay. Here's my deal. Here's one of my other pet peeves. If I give you instructions, especially something that's gonna put putting you in danger, and you still go and do it, my level of F's has just fallen. Because I purposely go out of my way to make sure nobody gets hurt in any kind of way, shape, or form. Even if there's a 10%, 1%, whatever chance that it could happen. So, here you go.
To work for a company that supplies overhead music to big business chains. Think Target, Starbucks, Hot Topic, etc. My department provides technical support to stores when their music isn't working. When something goes wrong in a store, we're not talking to some area manager Karen who's ready to scream at us for the music being down. Rather, we have to troubleshoot with the stores themselves. So if we're calling a Starbucks location, it's going to be some uninvested barista or an assistant manager who couldn't care less that their system isn't blaring, "All I want for Christmas is you" 20 times a day. Mind you, that does mean that we have a hard time getting the people at the store to troubleshoot with us at all. And such was the case with the Starbucks that I called. The first 3 attempts went something like this. "Hey there, my name is OP from company name. I'm reaching out today regarding your overhead music. Is a manager available to talk?" "This is her. When is a technician coming out?" "Unfortunately, I'm unable to send a tech out unless I verify some things with the system first. Do you have time to remote troubleshoot?" "No, just send a tech." Click. This happened a few times over the course of 2 days as I tried to call at different times to catch the store at a less busy time. Unfortunately, due to company policy, we can't send out a technician unless we've already tried remote troubleshooting. Eventually, on my 4th or 5th call, the manager finally relented. Once we get somebody to agree to troubleshoot, it generally only takes like 5 minutes. We have very simple setups. A music player connects to the internet for playlist updates and also feeds music to an amplifier. The amplifier sends the music to the speakers in the store. If you can hook up a video game console, you can also hook up one of our players. And even the least tech-savvy person can usually follow along with our instructions for troubleshooting. So we began. "Great. Are you able to locate your music player and amplifier?" "No, I don't know where they are." "Have you ever changed the volume of the music in your store?" "Yeah, there's a box with a little knob." "That's the amplifier." "Well, how was I supposed to know that?" I rolled my eyes and apologized for not being clearer, but I continued anyway. "It's up on a shelf that's too high. I can't reach it." "Well, how do you reach it when you want to change the volume?" "I get a step stool, but I don't know where it is right now." I try my best not to sigh in exasperation as she tries her very best to insist that there's no way that she can troubleshoot. She just repeatedly asks if I can send a tech and whines about not being able to reach the equipment. "Ma'am, I'm sure that you'll find the step stool if you look." "Fine then, I'll just use my chair." That sent up a huge red flag. I said, "I'd advise against that, ma'am. It might not be stable." "I think that I'm perfectly capable of standing on a chair. Thank you." "Ma'am, some of that equipment is very heavy, and it's not safe to use a chair to reach it for troubleshooting." Listen, why don't you just stick to your job and not worry about what I'm doing, okay? After she says this, I hear some skidding noises coming from the other end of the phone. Is everything all right? I'm fine. I'm just rolling my office chair to the shelf. Ma'am, please don't stand on a chair with wheels. She completely ignored me and just asked, okay, so what am I? She was abruptly cut off as I hear a loud thud followed by an even louder crash. Ma'am, are you okay? No answer. I try in vain for about a minute to call out to the woman on the other end, steadily getting more and more worried that she's seriously injured. Eventually, someone else picks up the phone. Hey, so, she can't come back to the phone right now. Her forehead is bleeding. What happens? So, not only did she fall off the chair onto her back, but she brought down the amplifier on top of her. Our amplifiers are about the size of an Xbox, and the corners are not rounded. This thing had landed on its corner on her forehead while she was lying prone on the ground. After a few minutes of stunned silence, not knowing where to go from here, I simply ask, is the amp disconnected from everything else? The barista said, yeah? Cool. Then this counts as an install. I'm sending a technician. Have a nice day. Click. I take a moment to recover before going back to making outbound calls. Luckily, the store never called to complain about that interaction, and I continued on with my day, acting as if nothing ever happened.
I'm sorry. I'm just I if I give you instructions on how to do something, I go out of my way to make it the safest instructions. I really think it's me. And hold on one second, everybody.
Went off.
You may have to disconnect your mic and put it back on.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, y'all carry on talking about it. Let's do some troubleshooting real quick.
There are people being customer service agents that have no patience or even the right kind of training. Some people don't care about training. Like when I worked in a bakery, I got a cursory 30-second, this is how you're supposed to answer phones. I would always go a little bit more than that. I would go very slowly. I would be very patient. To the
So
point
was
where
it Marlon?
people...
I think it.
Go ahead, Anna. I'm sorry.
Nope, sorry, no. It might very well be me. I'm trying to use earphones and a mic tonight just because everybody was super low yesterday to me. But I could see a few different ways of handling that call. Yeah, unfortunately, you're going to get people who are going to do what they're going to do. You can't help that.
Yep. There's nothing about that call I would have changed.
That's what I'm sorry.
Tracy, you're mute.
He didn't think to ask if she was okay. I mean, he just went to.
He's unconscious. Ask who?
He wanted to get off the phone.
No, but you still ask if she's okay.
You know she's not okay. She fell off the chair
she's not.
and she cut her
But
forehead
you
with an
make sure
amplifier.
that she gets the medical attention she
That ain't my
needs.
job. That's the people on site.
That's humanity. Oh my gosh.
Ain't about humanity. The longer he stay on that phone, the more liability he can create.
Mm-hmm.
Get off the phone.
I don't want to be like that. No.
Man, how you gonna say that after all the cold stuff you just said over these different scenarios?
I'm always sweet, kind, and gentle. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I'm sorry. The fact of the matter is, and
that lady got what she asked for.
I mean, her falling in the chair was hilarious. She shouldn't have. How do you stand on a chair with wheels on it? You already
I
know
was stand on a chair with wheels on doing absolutely anything.
But you know, people do it. I can't lie and say I ain't never did it.
I've never done that.
I've never done it.
I've never done
Now
it
I've
myself,
stood
but
in
I've
a
seen people
chair.
do it.
I've stood in a chair, a folding chair. Don't do that either. But not a chair with wheels on it. No.
No, I'm sorry. And the funny thing about it is, I'm with Theus. There's nothing he could have did that would have prevented this. He flat out said twice. He said once, I'm going to go get a chair. He said, ma'am, don't use a chair. It may not be safe. Then she heard a roll of the chair. So now he knows the chair is on wheels. Ma'am, please do not use a roller chair. She ignored both warnings. And we saw the result.
I'm still going to ask if she's okay.
That's good. And there's nothing wrong with asking. But you got to get off the phone.
But I got work to do. I got to go.
As soon as I figure out she was okay, then I'm
Not
like,
my problem.
I close the ticket and have a nice day.
He closed his ticket. She wanted a tech. She did what was needed to get a tech.
Yep.
And an ambulance. And a hospital bill.
And a workers' comp claim.
No, the Starbucks, they don't have, I don't think they get workers.
She's a manager. She might.
Oh, yeah, she might.
Yeah.
Sorry. My F's just falls really, really low.
No, I feel for the lady because her arrogance is what got her in the situation. But I wouldn't want to see nobody get hurt.
Yeah, she got hurt. I'm like, that's
but it's on her.
I've done it, but I locked the wheels. Damn, they tripped over. I just don't do it. I'm sorry. I just don't.
Yeah, I mean, do a folding chair, which don't do a folding chair. Not one with wheels on it. Mm-mm.
If it ain't a kitchen chair with 4 legs that's sitting on there, that literally is the only chair I would use.
Because the more you weigh, the harder it's going to feel when you fall.
I don't know. I've done dumb things, especially working in retail, trying to get something done. So, but sometimes you lose, and she lost.
Yeah, sometimes one day I'm
trying to save a minute, just lost an hour.
One, if possible.
I'll tell you the story one day about being made to do some stupid things, such as changing those long LED lights without cutting off the power.
No,
that wasn't gonna hurt you.
It did.
Yeah, it really will.
It did several times. This is Anna's.
It was a group of middle-aged guys. They're regulars, but they're annoying as hell, and they always ask for the hottest server. As a host, I usually just sit them with whoever. The last time they came in, I sat them with Dee, a really sweet black girl who's one of our best servers. They were furious. They never said anything to me or a manager, but they claimed everything was wrong. The food was too cold, the drinks were flat. She was way too slow. She was rude. They left a 25-cent tip and left not long after. This time, they specified they wanted a hot white server. I said okay, and with a smile, I walked them over to their table. I specifically sat them with the only male server, a tall black bodybuilder who towered over all of them. He's a really cool guy, but he can be slightly intimidating to people that don't know him just due to his stature. They never said a word.
Don't use me to prove your point. Why don't you just stand up for me?
Yeah, I was going to say for real. But this is Anna's, not mine, so.
I don't know why.
The one I got was dumb.
And all these been dumb so far.
Do you want this one, Tracy?
I would have told him, hey, look, you don't like black people, why don't you go on to some other restaurant and eat with those other KKK people if you like, bye. See, don't need you or your money.
You know what? And sometimes I want restaurants to have the balls to actually say that once in a while. I haven't even found a story. I mean, I have.
Bars will do it.
But the only problem I have is that it goes way too far before you actually do something about it. Like, I get sick and tired of the stories of they spent 15, 20 minutes yelling at the top of their lungs, berating everybody else, cussing and blah, blah, blah. It's like, why did it have to be that long? You know you're not going to get anything good out of this. You know it, and I know
there's the door. You don't have to eat here. You can take you and your white sheets and your tiki your tiki timbers or whatever they're called and go away. Bye. See you.
It's like, I don't want, here's the deal. After a certain point, I don't want you here. I just don't. I'll never eat here again. Good.
Okay.
Good. What's going to come out of you coming back?
See, he didn't have to get a black male heavy male server. He should have just said, "You don't disrespect my employee who's working her tail off." That's what I would have did, but hey, that's just me.
I find it's rare that a manager will really stick up for wait staff. They're all overworked, underpaid.
All of them.
And a lot of people just don't like conflict. There's some conflict that you need to have, but they don't even realize conflict is in their face. They're already involved.
And that's the part that people need to understand is avoiding it is not going to make it better. It just doesn't. These people are out for blood. This is their point of doing this. This is all they're going to do.
This is a
Like I
place
said,
that
I
a
have-
private business. You get to choose who gets the door.
Okay. I agree with all of you guys if you're going by a textbook. But in real life, you do
No, it
what you
never
got
happens.
to do in the moment. Now, I'm saying in this particular moment, what the manager should have said was, "Sir, those aren't the type of accommodations that we can make. We have to seat you according to where the next available seating rotation is. If that doesn't work for you, I do apologize, but that is our policy." That's what the manager should have said. Manager didn't say that. Instead, the manager said, "Okay, I remember these guys. I didn't like how they treated, insert name. I'm going to send them over here with old boy, and let's see if they say anything then, because I know they're really cowards underneath." Well, if you know that they're really cowards underneath, why did you send them to me? So, yeah, but the only part that I would take exception to is kind of like when like y'all were talking about some things as far as like conflict and stuff like that. The reality is you try to do everything you can not to engage. You have to. You want to be Billy Badass and engage with everything that come your way if you want to. These people crazy. So now you fighting or getting shot or getting stabbed over some dumb shit. Nah. But there's still a way to do it, though. There's a way to do it, and the manager didn't do it. So, whatever. That's my take.
All right. This is me and Theus's story.
Bet they get the good.
Yeah, it is.
Be legal. My girlfriend gets really upset and angry anytime I go off and do my own thing, instead of sitting and only spending time with her. And honestly, I'm at a point where I don't know what to do. My girlfriend and I are both 21 years old, and we've been together for a year. She moved in with me a few months ago for a few reasons. For starters, I live 4 hours away for college, and she hated the long distance while I was away at college. Also, we desperately needed a sixth roommate. In fact, even to make the transition better, one of my roommates asked her to move in since it was time for us to renew the lease, and everyone else that we had asked had declined, so we needed to find somebody. When she moved in, we decided to have separate bedrooms, as we thought that it would ease the transition and give us our own space if needed. My girlfriend works full-time, and once school starts, I will be quitting my full-time job and going to classes instead. When it comes to our relationship, I feel like I'm not able to do what I want to do when I want to do it, whether that's by myself or with her tagging along. Regardless of the circumstances, she always gets mad anytime I do something that I want to do. She always dictates what we watch, and if I'm watching something, she sometimes asks, or rather will demand, to put something else on, and if I even imply that we can wait until my show is over, she throws a fit and has a temper tantrum. She will then say things like, "Oh, you can just go upstairs and finish your show if it's that important." But with that in mind, if I respond in the same way that she responds to me, she gets sad and and acts like it's the end of the world. There has been a few times where she just changes it without asking, and when I said something, she gets mad at me again and tells me she doesn't want to watch it, and then reiterates that I can go upstairs and watch it by myself. In other situations, she just gives me this death stare and walks upstairs. Then she starts sending text messages to me because she misses me and wants me to come cuddle with her, and she acts all sad to try and pull me away from my stuff. But in that same sense, if I do leave and watch my own stuff upstairs, she still gets mad at me or pretends to be sad that I'm not spending time with her. It's all very confusing and just not fair. If I were to go upstairs or wherever I want on my own accord and do what I want by myself, she gets upset. And if I spend too long on that activity, she'll still get mad and claim that I'm ignoring her. She gets sad and wants me to give her attention, but refuses to come to my room and demands that I do what she wants. And yet she's always able to go off and do her own thing whenever she wants to do it, but hates it when I do the exact same thing. She'll claim it isn't fair, gets sad, upset, and thinks that I'm ignoring her. And this is a cycle on repeat. Once it was the weekend, I spent 8 o'clock in the morning to 1 o'clock p.m. watching her shows with her while she mostly just scrolled through TikTok and didn't pay attention. Then I spent the next hour or two cleaning up the house. My girlfriend texted me while I was cleaning the bathroom with a sad emoji saying that she misses me. As a side note, she didn't help to clean at all, nor did anyone else. When I finished cleaning, she went to take a 4-hour nap, and I took that chance to finally play some video games, as I haven't felt like I've been able to for months now. I played games with a friend for about 8 hours. I took a few breaks when I noticed that my girlfriend was up and asked her if she would like to do something in general or for dinner, but she said no to everything I asked her. When I was finished playing video games for the first time in months, my girlfriend was incredibly upset with me, and when I told her that I need time to myself to decompress just like she does, she gave me a death stare and angrily said, "You played video games for 8 hours," even though she was asleep for half of those hours. Later, she said she felt like I was ignoring her and didn't want to do anything with her, even though I was texting her, taking breaks to talk to her, and even asked if she wanted to do anything. It's like this every time. If I go up to my room to do work, play video games, or whatever I want, she will give me a puppy dog stare and whine like I'm abandoning her. Then text message me saying she wants me to spend time with her. Or, on the other hand, she will get mad and think that I'm angry with her or that I'm just ignoring her, which just isn't true. Sometimes she will walk into my room and say she demands my attention. And sometimes she will walk in and start hitting things off my desk, stare at me with puppy dog eyes, or give me a death stare and then just leave. I don't know why she can't just come into my room and lounge around like I do in her room all the time. Her reasoning is literally that it's just not her room, so she very rarely cares to spend time in it with me. At night after work, when
Okay, sorry, I don't even make it's a little long, even for me,
Thank you.
and it doesn't get any better. It's about the same. So listen, I'm gonna pull a Thea. So listen, dude, I'm gonna make this as flat out and as blunt as I possibly can to you because there ain't no use playing around with you. She's manipulative. She's controlling. You allowing it to be. You allow it to go this long. It ain't gonna get any better. You need to say peace out and save your sanity. This girl right now has played this game, and she has played this game more than one time. And this is she's just like this. She's gaslighting you on every situation she can. She wants to be in complete control of this relationship. She wants to be in complete control of you. And she using every emotion, which is why I said that she's trying to be controlling. If the anger don't work, then she'll cry. If the cry don't work, then she pout. If the pouting don't work, then she'll ignore you. This ain't got nothing to do with the relationship. This got everything to do with control. That's all she wants to do. You need to get out of this, dude. You need to go. It ain't getting no better. And when I say that, I'm saying it as there is nothing you could do that's going to make this get better. You've tried everything. You give her what she wants, she cries. You don't give her what she wants, she cries. You give her a space, she cries. You don't give her a space, she cries.
Right back.
No. You need to just go ahead and leave, dude. Sorry. Go ahead, Theus.
I want every minute of my life that was just wasted on that video back. All of
Okay,
them.
now that you not, let's go on with the next thing.
All of them. And it's a girlfriend. Break up with her, move on. Whatever. And you need to move out. I know you were there first, but you need to move out because she's there now. So if you break up with her, what she's gonna do is she's gonna purposely bring dudes by just to get under your skin. So you already know where it's gonna go. So you need to break up with her and you need to move out. There you go. Sucks to be you, dude. Girlfriends are
Anna?
replaceable.
This is the same in same-sex relationships, and put in whatever you want. When there is one person that nothing is ever good enough, it's not the other person. It's the one who's complaining. Get out.
Tracy?
Pick up your stuff and leave. Run. I don't care how you gotta do it. Change the locks, block her number, get a restraining order, do what you gotta do. Cause this one right here, nah. It's not worth all this crying emojis and texting it. No. Not
the restraining orders do much, but it can be nice to have the paper.
If she violates it, he could have legal recourse.
They live in the same domicile, and she hasn't done anything. So you'd have to break up with her so she can go ahead and go loony, and then he could do that. But at the end of the day, why do all that? Just move.
Yeah,
No,
It's your fault she's there.
Yeah, he asked her to move in. He knew how she was. Not this.
Well, he didn't. He might not have known how she was. He might not have known.
No. Tracy, this was a woman who knows how to play the game of being normal until you ain't got to be normal. You can be yourself. She wasn't like this at the beginning. That's what I'm saying.
People
this is a
don't
game.
date long enough anymore. They don't
sure
get to
don't.
know
Just
the
wanna
other
move in,
person.
Meet, go on a date,
Move in,
sleep together,
and let's
then
get
move
married.
in.
Yeah, I was
What?
told I'm a dinosaur because I still believe that first you court, then you date,
Mm-hmm.
then you go steady, then you
Put
get
a pin.
engaged, then you get married. But folk want to go from I met you, I slept with you, you my everything, and now I hate you. Like it's like
And
they
then
skip all the
then
steps.
I break up, go with somebody else, and then I'm back with you again.
Yeah, right. Miss all the steps. That's cool. Hey, do you, boo?
Man, just run. Block her off your phone. Don't write her a letter. Don't do nothing. Go. Don't tell your friends you moving. Leave them some rent money to cover your rent. Go. Just go. This ain't healthy at all.
I ain't got
Mama,
nothing to
where'd
say,
you
dude.
pick these
Just
from?
leave.
Oh no, man.
Boy,
Just
you
leave.
striking
Get your
out, bro.
name off of the loop.
I'm so
or
glad
the
I'm getting these
whatever.
out of the way.
This
I'm
not
glad
his
I'm getting
best
these out of the
curated.
way. So
Everybody gets an off time,
Yeah,
off
I
game,
think
man.
so.
It's cool. We love you, man. We appreciate all the work you put into
At
it.
least we not saying it behind your back.
Yeah, you know.
We just saying it right there where you can see it.
a nice story to end the hour.
I work in a store that offers technical support for consumer level technology. A few days ago, I had an elderly gentleman that we'll call Pete, name change for privacy. Our receptionist made him a walk-in appointment earlier that day and I ended up taking it. When I opened it all up, the only notes I saw were third-party software, hard of hearing. I walked up to Pete and greeted him, and saw that he was staring at my lips as to read them. Then, I asked if he knew American Sign Language. I've been trying to learn ASL as a sort of side hobby for a few months now. Pete signed yes, and we continued the conversation in Sign. Turns out the issue is with Skype, which keeps crashing on his roughly 5-year-old tablet, and he's been having difficulty video calling his wife, who's deaf. She lives in a different continent. She traveled there for a temporary work opportunity and would be there for 2 years. This being the midway point, it's now been 1 year since Pete's seen his wife. Skype is the only way they both know how to communicate efficiently long distance, as neither are comfortable with email or other text-based services. As I go through verifying that he knows his password and making sure there's a backup of his device, Pete and I are signing back and forth, and his face was completely lit up. I felt so good to be able to, albeit slowly, speak with him in his language and give him the time he deserved, even if his reason for visiting us had little to do with our physical product. Once everything was verified and backed up, I uninstalled Skype and reinstalled it, had Pete sign in, and used Skype's test call to ensure it wouldn't crash, as it would immediately upon call creation before. The test call went through fine. Sweet. I looked down to write a few extra notes and began to hear some coughs. I looked up and there was Pete crying while waving to his wife through Skype. Peter called her and she picked up. He introduced me to her and told me that it had been 3 weeks since they'd heard from each other. I stepped away to give him a moment alone. It's moments like these that keep me going as a technician. Even though I barely touched Pete's tablet, fixing it made me feel like a hero. It's been a few days and I can still see his smile.
Why he lying like that? Why do you know it's not true? It's either been a year or 3 weeks. Which one? Which one has it been? I'm
He's
confused.
been gone for a
Gone
year.
for a
He
year.
hasn't been able to talk to her for 3 weeks.
Oh,
Because
thank you.
of his
But I
Skype
still
being
don't
on.
believe it. I'd like to believe it. I want to believe it. But my spidey sensors are saying,
Y'all
I
the
believe
most cynical individuals I've ever met.
I don't know if it's
Y'all-
real or it's fake. I just know I don't give a fuck.
what did you say, Things?
I don't care.
Oh, I'm like, what did he say?
Yeah. Oh God. And I don't even have. See, thank
Hi,
you,
I am an
Nikki.
IT person, and I got an IT call, and I resolved the IT call. Thank you.
That's your
They
job.
went the extra mile and saw a point where they could use a skill that they have been learning on the side because there are a lot of people hard of hearing.
That
See,
is wonderful.
but this is Thea's though. Thea's whole thing, and I'm saying it. It may or may not be true. Thea said exactly what he said. This is my job. I did my job. Okay. And sometimes you don't realize that sometimes doing your job has a lingering effect on the customer. It ain't just
No.
go in, do
Bruh.
it, leave,
Man, please.
go in,
You,
get a
if you actually have
paycheck,
been
go
listening to
home.
what I've been saying, you would have noticed over the last couple of episodes how I approach management and customer service. I believe in definitely taking care of the person you're dealing with and the way that you do it. So that's not my point. My point is doing something right and being nice and considerate while you're doing a job. To me, that's not extra. That's your job. So,
He didn't
yes,
say he did
nice little
anything
story.
extra.
Hey, nice little story. I don't care. Good job. Make sure
That's what you should have been doing.
make sure you get back into available so you can take the next call.
Yeah. It's like, man, stop bragging on yourself. Go on somewhere. I still don't believe that that's you.
Oh, there was nothing about the story that would say I don't believe it. I just whatever, man.
Yep, he was too interested in himself. That's the part. Like, look at what I did. I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, don't have to put. I mean, there's a thing of saying you did a good job, but then he took it a little bit too far.
I'm so glad we're at the end of the first hour. I don't know what to do. I'm
You
just
picked
Give
these
him a
videos.
nice
We did not
feeling.
make you pick them. You
That's it.
picked them.
so that's okay. Because I guarantee you the second hour is going to be no, I believe it and blah, 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 and yuckity smackity. And if I was them, I would have. So I'm prepared for it. So I'm glad this was a little more relaxed and everything because I'm guaranteeing you this is a fair one to everybody. The second half ain't gonna be like that. Just gonna let you know off the bat, it ain't. Because ain't nothing feel good or anything like that. Apparently, that's what everybody wants. They want to raise their blood pressure before they go to work tomorrow. So here I am.
Wait, hold up, man. Nah, bro. Come on, man.
I thought we
You build this as this is the serious show.
Oh,
we are doing the lighthearted show on the serious night, and you are talking bad at us for being serious.
Right.
That don't, bruh.
This hour we talking politics. We gonna get into it.
I ain't even saying it got to be politics, my fam. I'm just saying, don't get at us for being serious.
Yeah, Saturday.
When you said this was the serious day.
You the one picked them videos. We didn't pick them. Nobody made
Okay, you got a point. I wasn't thinking. Today was politician. Well, all of the second half is political and social. So let's get ready to rumble.
Let's go, Ted Cruz.
3, 4. What happened to that?
Ain't nobody give a damn about no Ted Cruz. Anyway, we're going to take a 3-minute break to reboot, refresh, and for Theus to hit his head against a brick wall so you can get Ted Cruz out of there.
Teddy!
And we will see you all on the other end.
Living for weekends, wishing I could take a break from this world. Running on a hamster wheel, but searching for something I can't feel. I just wanna be a lost girl and fly. Take a breath, feel my wings spread, levitate above the ground and make eye contact with clouds. Now I'm rising, I'm soaring above it all. I just wanna be free, finally. I wanna be free, I wanna be free, finally. I wanna be free, finally. I always say dreaming, never imagined I lose my spark. Living in this crazy time, putting back the pieces of my mind. I know how to run from the dark and fly. Take a breath, feel my wings spread, levitate into the clouds. I'm so high above the ground, I'm rising, I'm soaring above it all. I just wanna be free, finally. I wanna be free,
on 1 second here. Get into my fight room. Welcome back to the second hour of Radical Truth to Power. We're going to get into it. We're going to get into why everybody shows up, why everybody comes. The second hour is nothing but political and social issues, problems, concerns, criticisms, and everything else. So let's get on to it. So before we even get started, as always, let's go ahead and pay some bills. Please do not forget to go to Patreon.com/TracyMediaLLC.com. Please support her and all her causes. Please do not forget to go to Patreon.com/ComplexMind. That is Theus Robinson's Patreon. Help him support in all his causes. Please do not forget to go to Patreon.com/Radical Truth to Power, exactly the way it's spelled, because I don't know how to do crap correctly. Capital R, capital T, capital T, capital P. And please do not forget to go to Anna Hart's website, BorelliEtc.com. Learn something that you didn't think you need to learn, but you probably should. As always, please do not forget to hit that like button. The more likes that we get right here, right now, the more people it will suggest to that we are live and bring more people in. And also, if this is the content that you would like to see on a daily, weekly basis, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Please do not forget to hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Again, please do not forget to hit that like button so you can please tickle the balls of the algorithm of YouTube to let everybody know that we are here and we are live. I don't really care about it anymore. Foxy's videos of the week. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this idiot out the way. Tracy's favorite person.
Did you hear the latest from Fucknut? And by Fucknut, I mean, of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene. She said that children in this country are in great danger because they are not being brought up with traditional family values. And do you know why they're not being brought up by traditional family values? Because some of the children in this country are being brought up by fake moms and fake dads and not their biological parents. She said that. Fake moms and fake dads. So my two good friends who have adopted children, they're fake parents. I, as a stepmother, my husband as a stepfather, are fake parents, fake parental figures. I think this is one of the worst things she's ever said. I think it's a disgusting thing to say that if you've adopted a child, that you're a fake parent. Or you're a caregiver to a child, you're a fake parent. Fuck you, Marjorie. And people listen to her. Vote blue, people.
Let me be first, please. I'm the stepfather to 4 wonderful children. Now, let me turn that around to say I'm no longer their stepfather. I am their father. I've earned that right. The same thing that biological parents did, so did I. Every day. Until all of them left this house. And by the way, am still doing. Why? Because I am a father of 4 kids who don't have my blood, but they have my heart. So, just like that lady said, fuck you, Marjorie. Because you pretty much shitted on all my effort over years. And I take that very seriously. I took the job of being a parent very seriously. I'm so sick and tired of these low life pieces of crap who gets elected into office because somehow they found low life pieces of crap to vote them in. I'm sick of her. I'm sick of Bolbert. I'm sick of Gomer. I'm sick of Cruz. I'm sick of all of y'all. You are the lowest form of politics. The lowest form of a human being. And again, I have absolutely no effing respect for you at all. I'm done. I don't even give a damn who takes it from here. I'm done.
Which one of y'all want to take it? Because Marla said
I don't know.
everything. I mean,
personally, I think people give giving Marjorie life. She said another hateful thing, and I think it based on how it hits you is how you feel about it, Like the lady said, this is the worst thing that Marjorie has said. Well, to her, because the other ones didn't hit her, I guess. But when Marjorie was talking about transgender, that one was bad. I think that was right there on the same level, people giving her life, man. I mean, yeah, she said some shit that's ugly, but she is an ugly person. She says ugly stuff constantly. And she does it because she wants people to get mad at her and give her some more energy and give her some more attention so she can raise some more money and she can go do things. So, I don't knock nobody for how they feel about what she said, but stop giving her energy.
I want to disagree with you most slightly, because if we don't highlight this foolishness, it's like we're just letting them hide in the dark. It's like if we don't put her on blast, we can't say, "Hey, what she just said, that ain't right."
It's not right. But my question then will come back to what you gonna do about it. What are you willing? What are you ready and willing to do about it? Besides, get her message out there a little bit more. Because the people who are offended by her, we're already offended by her. You know what I mean? So airing it, I do see where people say, the best disinfected in sunlight, like that saying, whatnot. But what you gonna do about it? You gonna make sure there's somebody who's actually gonna help get her out of office, and no matter how good or bad that Democratic opponent is, you gonna back them and put money behind it to get her out? Are you gonna do that? Are you gonna look at what her Republican, back when she was in a primary phase, who's her Republican opponent? You're gonna finance that person even though they're a Republican and you don't vote Republican because that's still better than her? You gonna do that? No, okay, not gonna do that. All right, so you're gonna go and you're gonna put your hands on her? No, not gonna do that.
Can't do that.
So I get it, but it's like we're addicted to being offended, and she's feeding our addiction. But like I said, I don't take nothing away from the people who feel however they feel, because 2 weeks from now she might say something that hits me, and I would be like pissed off. Maybe, I don't know. She don't rank like she don't.
And I get exactly what you said, because when people get upset about what Laura Boebert said, and Laura doesn't hit me like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't even know why, because it's sort of like, to me, Laura's speech is more like so scripted.
They're both scripted.
I mean, but hers is just overly scripted. Like, the I'm really the Christian and the Christian faith and the Christian culture, and I'm gonna come up here and do the Christian talk, and everything is not Christian. But I don't
They're
know.
both repping the exact same thing. They're both repping this twisted, Eurocentric, white nationalist Christian thing. Like that's what they're both repping. They both say the exact same things. I guess you could say Lauren, because she really is not, excuse me, very bright. You can tell that she's kind of like trying to play a role. And then Marjorie is a little bit brighter. And so you know that she's really
like
meaning this stuff.
Yeah, she
You know
really
what I'm
mean
saying?
hers.
But whether you really mean it or you playing along, it's the same message. It's the same damage. It's the same effect. So that's kind of like how I feel when people be like, you know, you got the people who, you know, the one that'll hang you, but then they got the other people who will come to watch the hanging. To me, they're the same people. So it comes back to what are people willing to do about it? But we ain't willing to do much about it. What we're willing to do is wait for somebody else to fix it. You know, I mean, I guess I'm kind of in that camp too. But we'll wait for somebody else to fix it. You know, we'll be like, ooh, this person's bad. And that's kind of so, you know, once I finally hit that point, which wasn't too long ago, real talk. But once I finally hit that point, it's just like, man, whatever. Because I'm so sick with all sides of the political thing. I'm sick of the so-called lefties. You know what I'm saying? I'm sick of the whatever you want to call these knuckleheads on the right. I'm sick of the independents. I'm sick of the pro-black. I'm sick of the pro queer LGBTQ. I'm sick of everybody because nobody really wants what they say they want. Everybody wants to be heard. Everybody just wants their grievances felt. But they don't want to work with everybody and push something to make something happen. You know what I'm saying? And that's a generalization because there's people who are actually putting in that work. And that's why we're seeing right now all the things like with the Democratic Party right now, what Biden and them are doing. They intentionally waited until this point to start getting anything done. Okay? So they were playing with us all this time and sandbagging so they could do all this stuff now, just in time for the midterm. But that being the case, they're still doing what they're doing right now. And the only reason they are doing those things is because your vote matters. So they're going to play up to you now in crunch time because they need you. And this is how politics is played. So like I'm looking at it and I'm like, yo, if you really want to get the things you say you want to do, this is crunch time. This is when you go do it. But instead, people just want to cry.
Well, this is the part about America that irks me so much, and I get what you're saying, but it doesn't benefit Democrats to do everything. It just doesn't. They could do everything they literally said, and if they do it too damn early before the midterm or for the general election, we still live in a society where, oh yeah, they did do something, but that was so long ago.
I get that, but that's not okay. I guess that's the point I'm making, right? So I'm making multiple points at the same time, right? It's not okay that for 2 years they pretended like they were dysfunctional when in fact they were just helping to raise Manchin's profile so he would be a much stronger candidate for his reelection. And that's really what they were doing, okay? Then we got to this period where they're starting to have some things come through, but they're really weak, but there's things that they needed to be done. So yes, great that they're delivering on those things, but the cynic in me is also looking, saying, literally, you did this for the maximum political impact. And that's not, I mean, it kind of maybe it is what you're supposed to be there for because we turned it into a game. But
it's a game.
For people who actually want to take care of people, that's insulting. And for us to have been moved into a place where we're like, that's just what it is, that means that's what it's gonna be. You know? So that's why it's like the energy that's happening over there on the right, even though I don't agree with their reasons and their rationale, I get it though. I get it. They're tired of being lied to. They're tired of being played with. They're tired of things only mattering in the last 3 to 4 months of an election cycle. They're tired, and they're lashing out. Now, I don't agree with all that stuff that they're doing, but I get it. But then on the other side, we're busy fighting each other. So, as the old saying goes, America will get the government that it deserves. And MTG's part of it.
Next video.
What if, when you went to the bathroom, there were people with penises there? Oh, like a unisex bathroom? Yeah, I don't mind those. Not necessarily, because everyone there identifies as a woman, but some of them have penises. How do I know they have penises? What? Like, it's a normal bathroom with stalls, right? Yeah, it's a normal bathroom. So, like, how do I know if someone who looks like a woman and identifies as a woman and is peeing in the stall next to me has a penis? Like, how, in this hypothetical situation, how would I even know? Even if I cared, how would I know? You wouldn't know, and that's what's scary about it. Why is that scary, though? Because there could be a penis nearby. Right. And I don't know.
So basically, because I remember saying this a long time ago, but there's a penis in the bathroom. How do you know there's a penis in the bathroom? Well, you wouldn't know, but it's possible there would. Again, how would you know?
Possible there could be a bat in the bathroom.
It's possible there could be a snake in the bathroom, as far as we know. It doesn't mean you're gonna know.
Yeah.
And if they're identified as,
but that's always been the case.
I get your logic. I get your logic that you try to do the little scary boogeyman type thing without actually using logic. That's the game y'all been playing for the longest time anyway.
It's about fear.
It's about fear. That's the point.
But you got to get to look at it too, though.
With fear. That's the point. Is the whole story was is predicated on fear.
Yeah, they're obsessed with child rape. So they have decided
they're dating children. Allegedly.
Yes. Yeah, they're obsessed with child rape. Meanwhile, the Catholic Church is untouched, relatively untouched. Meanwhile, you have orphanages and foster children who are woefully under supervised, and they're being victimized all the time. Meanwhile, we have child sex trafficking. Meanwhile, we have some of the more extreme Christian or whatever things that sit there and be like, well, we're going to marry her because she's 10. So it's all about fear. But then I'm going to come back to it and say, well, what are you afraid of? Well, we're afraid of penises. Okay, so now you're afraid of men. That's really what it is?
No,
all men are bad? Is that what we're going to do? And if all men are bad, then why don't you just like women? Oh, but that would be gay. It can't be gay. Like, it's just, I mean, I'll play the little circle game with them, but they can't do it.
It's a public restroom. I mean, if I'm going to a public restroom, I have one goal: get in, get out as quickly as possible. Do my business, wash my hands, and leave that place as fast as I can leave. Nobody wants to go to a. Who sits around and just what they want to do? Stall checks? What are they? Oh gosh!
You know, if I saw a woman or someone who represents themselves to be a woman come into the men's bathroom, my only thought would be, "Ew, why in here, man?" I'd have gone to the women's bathroom because our bathroom always smell like piss. So, can I go in your bathroom?
You going too?
But I mean, people act like they don't have no bathrooms at home. Like, your bathrooms at home are unisex.
But then they fight against unisex bathrooms.
Your
They fight
bathroom
against
at
unisex
home
bathrooms,
is unisex.
and they fight against family bathrooms. They don't
But
want either one of those. They just want to punish you for being basically, and this is what I said with people who got problems with homosexuality and people who have problems with transgender. Your problem is not any of the things that you say your problem is. Your problem is you think it's icky. So in your brain, it's uncomfortable to think about something that you find icky. So you just want to make sure that the icky goes away. That's all it is. You don't have nothing against gay. You ain't got nothing against trans. You ain't got nothing against nothing. You don't like the image in your mind, and you're going to try to force reality to fit your mind. And that's the problem.
But people, I'm like, you got bathrooms at home, the unisex.
Yeah, but that's in my house.
But when you go to your neighbor's house, that's unisex.
That's at my neighbor house, though.
But when you go to your mama's house, that every bathroom you go to that's not in a public place.
Those
is
are all good
unisex.
Christian, wholesome families that I've already pre-selected and approved.
The only time we divide, and this has got to be an American thing, because I've been to 4 foreign countries and each one of them had unisex bathrooms. I never saw like a female stall or a male stall. It was just a bathroom.
Well, in Europe,
here's the funny thing, Tracy. Here's the funny thing about it, though. Let's use just some sense on this. I know I ain't supposed to, but let's use some sense on this, and let's just use a little bit of reality, a lot of reality, a reality of reality. When I go to the bathroom, I really ain't giving a rat's ass who's standing beside me and or who's in the stall beside me.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, got the whole open thing. Ugh.
I never cared once. I don't know where my mind is. My mind may be about home. My mind may be at work. My mind be on the football game that I just saw last week and why we can't throw a touchdown in the red zone. My mind be on 50,000 things. My mind ain't never been on, I wonder who in the damn stall beside me.
I don't know. I be wondering who in the stall next to me, man, because, first of all, I don't ever poop in public. I just can't do it. If you ever find me pooping in public, my stomach is towed the hell up, and I can't get home.
That's why you don't eat crazy in public. You eat just the lightest food.
I'll hold on to it until my insides rupture. I ain't doing it. Okay. But I have gone to the bathroom and been like, man, somebody's stomach done died, and so you kind of wonder then, you know what I'm saying?
You wonder who made that
You wonder who made that atrocious smell.
You should have called in sick.
Gee, is that a man or a woman?
You ain't never went into the bathroom and wonder who, and you don't smell nothing. Nothing triggers you, and you ain't never went in there going, I wonder who been in here all day.
No, I don't. I ain't never had that concern. But you know what they're thinking of? That everybody, they live in these outside fantasy realms. So they're like, well, I heard that when gay men want to have sex, they do this, they have this signal and that signal. So they walk in the bathroom looking for extra shoes and all that stuff. They just be in some weird other place, man. They out there.
The funny thing about it is y'all the one that's absolutely disgusting because y'all the ones that keep coming up with this crap.
Yeah, I wouldn't even think about that. I'd be like, okay, I'm in the bathroom. First of all, I try to avoid public restrooms at all costs. Like, avoid them. Don't eat a big heavy meal. Wait till you get home. Then whenever you get home, all bets are off. But a public, I've never said wonder.
You ain't getting nothing out of me but some pee.
Gee, wonder who's in the stall next to me. Is that a man or is that a woman? Nope. I'm thinking, let me get out of here, wash my hands thoroughly, because you gotta wash your hands thoroughly. That would bother me more than a male walking in the bathroom would be somebody not washing their hands.
If you ever, hopefully people have learned not to wash hands no more. I mean, not to shake hands no more. But if you ever shake hands with a dude at your job, immediately you need to get you some antiseptic or get to a sink, because man, I'm not gonna say who the biggest offenders are, but there's some big offenders with that courtesy rinse crap. Okay. Like I got to the sink before you. How are you done washing your hands before me?
You supposed to wash your hands. They say 30 seconds.
Ain't nobody doing all that, but they might. But my thing is, you
I
still
see 'em.
shouldn't be able to get to the sink after me, be finished before me, and
Hand
then who can dry their
sanitizer.
hands on one rope? Like, you know, you put your hand on the machine.
No, I don't like that. That's
Nah.
a waste of resources. You can use air dryers.
No, never that.
I ain't got time
Never.
for no.
Never.
Use air dryers.
I'll walk out the bathroom with my hands wet because the air dryer ain't doing nothing but pushing all the bacteria that's in the bathroom back up into the air.
And all that paper is doing is clogging up sinks and clogging up.
It's going in the trash can.
Go to the trash
They
can.
ain't
Are
supposed to
you
put it in the
flushing
toilet. The people
I
who
would
flush toilet,
rather
who
use paper towel.
flush their paper towels, they are some crazy people. I mean, you done tore
Yeah,
up the
you need to
whole
leave the bathroom.
I use an air for. I can't use all those paper towels. No.
Tracy,
Man.
Tracy, if you see somebody go over there, pull a paper towel out, dry their hands, go back to the toilet and flush it, you need to leave that room immediately.
You end
But
up with
where
a
do y'all
trash
think
can.
all the
Right.
paper towels go to? That's just wasteful.
It is wasteful. It
As
goes
much
to a
as we
landfill.
done
But you
had
know,
it, as
where
much
do
as
you
we done
think
had
the
this-
bacteria and germs go when you turn on that fan, that high pressure fan?
We done had biodegradable paper towels for years now. Those things don't even last long. They don't dry either, but hey,
Yeah, but I'd be more
Yeah, you
concerned
got
if
to
somebody
live- you
did
gotta
come
live what
in
you gotta live
after
with.
using the bathroom, they didn't wash their hands. You just
But that happens
man.
way too often. That's what I'm saying. Don't shake nobody's hands. And if you do, go
Mm-mm.
wash your hands.
and Nikki, by the way, there's a third paper towel. So I use 2 paper towels to dry my hand. I grab a third paper towel so I can grab that door handle.
Door. Yep.
Well, I don't get an extra one. What I do, I get 2 paper towels because one is never long enough. I got full size hands. So after I dry my hands, then you take the paper towel and you use that to grip the handle to pop the door open.
Pop the door.
Use your foot to
Foot.
catch the door.
Now that's
Throw
what
the
I do.
paper towel in the trash can and get out the door. If you need to hold the door for somebody coming in, that's what the elbow's for. That
Yeah, but the non-hand washers.
We
I
ain't-
mean, where was y'all raised
Yeah, I
at
ain't
not
talking
washing
about
y'all hands? That's why.
do it right. It's
That-
like a little dance, man. Yeah, you know, just whatever. Nasty people, man.
Hey, Tanya.
That's why I think about that movie Blue Streak. Remember when Martin Lawrence on Blue Streak?
Never saw it.
Bamboo paper towels, they dry, disposable, and no trees.
Yeah,
are
but
hurt.
those are super expensive.
Very expensive, and
Hugely
don't nobody know where they at. They definitely ain't running around here in America. We get them brown paper bag paper towels that you just gotta hope they take some of the water off.
Wait a minute, this question right
Oh
here.
yeah, I know. Or flushing documents. Which one is worse, flushing paper towels?
Well, it all depends. Did you chew on the documents first?
Yeah, because they said he ate some of the documents.
If you chew on the documents first, they may be easier to pass than the paper towels.
They did say he ate some of them though, so he
Yeah,
just
yeah.
let that go through his system.
Well, it went through his
No,
system.
because then
We
he'll
got
just
rid of
say he
those
never
documents a
swallowed.
different way.
It almost worked for Bill.
Next video.
It definitely worked for Monica. Boom, boom.
Next video.
The sky comes falling. Even
Stop it! Stop! Stop the whining and the sniveling right now! There are Christians in this world who are oppressed. Yes. There are Christians in North Korea who can't go to worship without risking being thrown into a gulag. There are Christians in Palestine who can't even get to their churches because of Israeli checkpoints and walls. You are not oppressed as a Christian in this country. Quit your sniveling whining. That Savior you claim to serve said, take up your cross and follow him, and you're whining and crying because what? Because nobody's letting you treat gay people like shit anymore? What the hell is wrong with you? Quit whining! Stop it!
Oh, it's loud.
Okay, first of all, I don't think that's a real pastor. Pretty sure.
That was a priest, sir.
Or a priest.
No,
I don't think
preachers
that-
wear clerics. My dad wore one.
Yeah, I don't know too many preachers that be cussing.
Well, I do.
What? Oh, you just don't know the ones I do. Oh,
when they off the clock.
Some have did it while they're on the clock. What you think?
Right, what? Right.
You be knowing.
Whether it's real or not, we need far more. No, I'm talking whether it was a real parishioner priest. We need far more realistic messages for the Christian people. Like, I was so glad when I found somebody who just spoke about love and that it didn't matter what everybody else was doing. You're supposed to be thinking about yourself and how you become your best self. And I'm like, I could listen to this all day. And I'm not a Christian.
But see, that, in my opinion, because I said my biggest problem with American Christianity is because I'm foolish enough to believe the principles of the faith. But what my pastor said to me when I was a young teen, he said, the loudest sermon you'll ever preach is the one that never leaves your lips. There should be something about you that makes someone curious, and they look to you and say to themselves, I'd like to be like that. I'd like to be able to respond like that. I'd like to be able to walk like that, talk like that, feel like that, And that is how you convert people. You convince them to follow you. But instead, we go with more of like a condemnation move where be afraid, be very afraid. And if you don't do what I say, you're going to get punished. Man, that don't get nobody on your team. So, yeah, I like the people like you pointed out, Anna. But we're really flooded more with the people who feel more like I got to figure it out. And I mean, it's not just the evangelicals, and it's not all evangelicals, but it's enough of them.
Mm-mm.
It's enough of them, because the other evangelicals are mighty quiet. So
no, I think we're making noise, but nobody listens to us.
Cause here's the deal, Tracy. And this is more media, this is more society than anything else. Because we don't spotlight those people. If you was more Bible-based, more love, and I know I use Kumbaya a lot, but the ones that's really we need to come together and everything else, and there is no hate, there's no heat, there's no screaming at the top of your lungs, and I'm not even going with the people that scream or yell, because I grew up in a church where gets kind of loud at that last 5-10 minutes of that preaching, but it's all good. We don't spotlight those people. No, we need to spotlight the whole church that wants to scream, "Let's go, Brandon."
Well,
we need to spotlight the ones that if you in here and you a Democrat, you a demon, and if you're a demon, you need to be out here. We spotlight I know there's 3 witches in here right now, and
I know their names, and
we spotlight those people. We don't spotlight the ones who's on the right path and doing their best to put you on the right path. No, we need to be the ones who sits there and plays a guitar looking like a broke-ass Elvis, going around talking about how everybody needs to look at Biden, and I've got a picture of him with reptile eyes. And those are the ones that we spotlight the most.
Yep, and even when we do speak, who's listening to us?
You never know. That's why you got to keep speaking.
But here, that's not. I think I agree with what Marlon is saying 100%. I agree with what he's saying 100%. There are so many congregations doing so many positive things. I'd rather hear about them than the pastor that whined because they didn't buy him a watch. To me, that's the anomaly. That's the exception. It's not true to me.
I agree with you, but one, the ones who are bringing you your messaging, they don't care about that. Right? Controversy says. Right?
I was going to say that.
That's one big piece. But then you got the ones who want to walk around using your name. They got whole networks. Was it Christian Broadcasting Channel or whatever people call? And them people, if that's the symbol of what Christianity today is, there's a problem. So you got people who misuse the name. So you can't really use them. Like they're pushing their own particular
But how come
agenda.
that's not the state? Well, never mind. I'm gonna leave that alone.
I don't know what you were saying.
I was about to say something I had no business saying,
say.
so I'm just gonna leave what I was gonna say alone.
Oh, okay. So, but the thing is, you got that out there. But then you got the people who are like, I actually truly believe that even though there's a lot of problems, I don't care what church you go into, there's a lot of problems because America is what America is, and we all Americans, we just go into church, right? But there are churches who are doing some mighty hard work trying to just take care of the community, take care of their congregation. You know they don't have a lot of resources, so they focus mainly on their congregation, right? So, all right, cool. I'm with that because that's like my family church is like that, right? There's dysfunction because people are dysfunctional, but they're trying to do the right things, right? But you got people out here misusing your name, and I don't know. It just gets frustrating. It does. But, whatever.
Here's my deal. Tracy, the only pushback that I'm going to have is I was brought up on one, and take my word for it. My sister-in-law is on here right now. I am surrounded by pastors / Christianity. Period. My uncle was a pastor. My aunt was a pastor. My father-in-law is a pastor. I am surrounded.
Okay, we get it. You can't hate black people because you have black friends. Okay.
No, that's not the point. But I was brought up on this in the church. If I can reach just one. And I was always brought up on that. See, when the people that's doing all the yelling and screaming and the hatred and the fortitude and the devil and the witches and everything else, no, they're trying to reach masses. They ain't got time to get one at a time. That ain't their deal. They need the cash. They ain't got time to reach one person. One person ain't bringing in the money that they need to get that car washed that they just bought. No, they need the masses. I was always brought up on, I don't care if there's 100 people in this congregation right now and 99 people walk out that door and don't change a doggone thing. Because all I did was reach one of them.
Yeah.
No, I'll tell you what I was brought up on. All I need to reach is one. Because I don't know what that one is going to do after they leave here. I don't know what I did to that one's life. I don't know if that one was the one that really needed to hear the right thing at the right time in the right measure.
I'm with you. Every sermon is not for everybody. It's being presented to everybody, but it's going to be received differently by each person, depending upon where they are in their walk, their moment, their life. I'm 100% with you on that. What I was saying, is when I think about all I learned about Jesus, he ain't do none of his work in church. He wasn't hanging out with a whole bunch of people in a building and pretending like that was his work. Right? He would gather the multitude and he would do his teachings and so forth, but then he'd keep it moving. And he would always make sure he held himself to a particular standard. And it wasn't a standard that was so lofty that you couldn't see yourself doing it, so that you would actually be able to believe that while he is the Christ, he's what's the word? He's real. He's among us, right? Like I can strive to be that for real. Like that's there. But all I get from what I watch, and I know I'm jaded, you know, I'm a Reformed Christian, and I look at it and I'm like, you know, folks just want to go to church and pretend like that's their work. Get to work, get home from work, from church, be just as messy. Everything they absorb from TV to music, messy, movies, messy, family, messy. You live in mess, and then you go to church and be nice.
I'm gonna disagree. Well,
I'm even gonna disagree on that one.
Yeah, because that, you know, and I hate to use myself as an example, but what Parker is saying is exactly right. It's hard for me to even explain it because we should be alike. Absolutely, positively, 1,000,000% yes. If we say we're Christian, there's a certain way we should talk, there's a certain way we should walk. But sometimes, y'all know, I get it wrong. I done got it wrong so many times.
That's human.
Exactly. And I think that expectation, you know, we know there's idiots like the guy who's squawking and squawking and squawking and making noise. We know he's there, but that's not going to stop me from saying, hey, here's the real truth. Don't listen to that guy.
I feel you. And I am certainly not coming at you, but
I know you're not coming at me, but I just want to make it clear. It's like
you know what?
everybody's taking the whole thing.
I respect that.
Wait a minute. How come I got to stop saying viewer discretion advised, but you always get to say I'm not coming towards you? That's a little unfair.
He was talking to me.
When have I ever told you what not to say?
You're not coming towards anybody.
But sometimes, because let's just be real, cut the crap and everything.
Okay.
Tracy is very patient, and she is trying to represent her particular view. And on this panel of 4, there are 2 of us who are quite more questioning and challenging towards the Christian faith. So even when we're not coming at her as the representative of that other position, it can only be received that way. So if I know that what I'm saying is getting to be a little biting or might be a little bit more edgy compared to just a more, then I say to her, I'm not coming for you, because I want her to know that as I raise the temperature, I'm not doing it to her, because I feel, I can't say how Tracy feels, but I feel that if you were having a conversation about the Black community and the 3 of you or 2 or 3 of you had a view that was kind of coming at my position, I might start feeling some kind of way sometimes.
Hey,
so
Malcolm.
I'm trying to be respectful.
Can we get on to the next?
I just sometimes
you the one brought it up, man.
Yeah,
you
I think
tell me to stop.
sometimes
Come
people
on, man.
on the left do that to Christians, and I'm like, it's so unfair. But this is what me personally, I have to expect that. Like, that's your job to do what you're doing. It's my job to do what I'm supposed to do.
What's my job?
And that's what my deal
to raise
is
questions.
But that's what I was saying when I sat there and said, as long as you reach one, and let me put
because
sometimes
that
fine
one
point
can
on.
tell another one and tell another one and tell another one and tell
It's
another.
the ripple.
Well,
Ripple
but
effect.
here's the deal, Tracy. But this is why I think people get lost at. When I said you could have reached 1 out of 99 people, you don't know who that one is. And I think people have this thing of saying, I need to know who that one person is that
No, I'm not gonna say you'll never know.
That's that saving souls thing.
No, Tracy, you may never.
You may never know. In some cases, it'll happen years down the road. You said this 10 years ago. I'm like, I said what?
Well, this is what I tell my children, and it's not a Christian thing. Now, I do try to raise my family, and I try to walk in a light that does honor the Christian faith, even though I don't adhere to all of the traditions and bylaws and stuff that I used to. But my thing is this: whatever you're doing, wherever you are, someone is watching you. And you
Exactly.
do not know who is taking their strength from you. Now, that doesn't mean that you're responsible for everybody who's around you. That doesn't mean that you can't make mistakes. It doesn't mean you can't have a bad day. It doesn't mean any of that. But what it does mean is that when you have that bad day, when you make that mistake, it's going to be real important how you come back from it, because you don't know what person is on the edge and they're about giving up on everything. But they see you and they see, I want to be like you. And you are ministering to that person and you don't even know they exist. But please believe they know you do. And that's what I try to bring to my children. That's how I try to roll. So if you really roll back and check all the stuff I say and all that, if I said it, I meant it, I'll stand on it. And when I'm wrong, I will apologize. If I didn't know I was wrong and you let me know and I agree with you, I'll apologize. I mean, but it's just like, I just feel like people need to be more authentic, right? Like whatever it is, own it. Right? Don't play the role.
But it's not that that's not what we're saying. I think when we talk about like these so-called, I call them wolves in sheep clothing. That's the nicest things. That's the nicest thing that I can say. It's frustrating on one hand that that's used as all Christians are just like that. That would be like me. That would be like me saying because somebody in Nation of Islam hurt my feelings 3 years ago. Well, they're all like that. That's a dumb thing to say. But I feel like it's always said, especially on the left. Especially on the left. Left, y'all know y'all do it. It's like, well, they're all like that. No, we're not all like that. There are some of us. I'm going to use myself as an example. I try my best. Do I always get it right? No. I know I don't get it right. But I try my best to get as close to what I think and what I believe and what I say I believe. But I just
no, I honor your position.
I guess I'm tired of being associated with crackpots.
Well,
but then then on one hand, I have to expect that's what people are going to do.
Actually, Christ said you would. But
yeah, I was going to say, I know that's going to happen, but it's still, it can still be frustrating. Though.
This is where you get a lot of pushback from people like, I'm not speaking for you, Marlon, so I'm speaking for me. People like me, all right? And we empathize with what you're saying, because when it comes, and I'm not to pop collars or nothing like that, because nobody's getting this thing right. In fact, from my interpretation, from what I've learned, no one can get it right, okay? But the ones who are most close to the spirit of what the faith is traditionally been Black people in America, Black Christians, okay? But where a lot of the frustration comes in is like somehow the right, whatever that actually means, but the right has been allowed to effectively trademark Christianity. Even though Christians, they exist on the left, they exist in the independent stream. No one owns being a Christian. Just like no one owns being a Muslim. But here's the problem, though. And this is where me and my father had a conversation once. My problem with American Christianity is it's always too convenient. It's so convenient because the right is maligning the name. They're disrespecting the faith. They violate the tenets all day, every day, but they run with the name out there. And then if people think that Christian must mean Republican, even though Christians are all across the spectrum. But then this other side, though, they just be quiet.
I don't
they
think
can
we're
speak
quiet.
up.
I just don't think anybody's listening to us.
No, because they can get on. They can get out there and they can talk too.
It's quiet. I
don't. I really don't. I just think
the people who are doing what they supposed to do are going by the Bible faith, that they're not going to sit there and I have an abundance
Yeah, the battle's not
amount
mine.
of
I got it.
videos and an abundance amount of audios of people who have shunned, who have put on the faith, who have sat there and said these people are wrong. It's the part of society that goes, but you're not entertaining
Yep, you're
enough
too
for
boring.
me
You're too high
to
for
listen
it.
to you. No, I need to listen to fake ass Elvis. I don't need to listen to somebody that's doing
Talking
the
about
right
Billy
thing.
Ray, Billy Ray Jesus.
Billy
they
Ray
said? What's his name?
Cyrus, Joe Jones, or whatever his damn name is. I need to listen to him who has who funny thing about it is, if you actually look at his preaching, he actually preaches the gospel while looking like he's doing a hardcore metal band worship
Who
the
is y'all
devil.
talking about? Who are y'all talking about? I done missed this. Who are y'all?
I don't know.
talking
He done pivoted to somebody else because I'm
Who
thinking
is you talking about,
Billy
Mark?
Ray Jesus, and he don't preach no gospel.
With the real black long hair.
Yeah,
And he always talked like this, and I talked to God, and God today told me that
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Because the guy I'm talking about,
like if you said somebody like TD Jakes, okay, I know who that is. But
no, this is a white dude, and I'm
he's a
gonna
white
find
guy,
a
long,
video of
long,
him.
pretty hair. But
pretty hair.
I don't remember him.
What did you
really
just
speaking
say?
no long, pretty hair.
Somebody show me a
And
picture.
Your hair pretty. Your hair pretty. You can't tell somebody hair pretty.
Is he black or white?
Marlon, your hair is
white.
gorgeous, my brother.
Okay, so he's white. He's got black hair or gray hair.
Oh, it's blackish. I don't
Purely
know.
black.
Purely black.
Definitely
Is he
ain't gray.
old or young?
Yeah, middle of my age, our age,
Young.
you know.
Nah, y'all done stumped me on this one.
That's like Google Billy Ray Jesus, and
No, wait a
you'll
minute.
probably get him.
No, I'm gonna get this one because he's blocking me. I'm like, wait a minute.
Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna literally see.
Yep. Wait, no, that came up Billy Ray Cyrus. Oh, where is he?
See, they got Billy Ray Cyrus. I literally.
Now we gonna lose time. Keep talking. I'll see if I can find him.
The point I was making, because I can't find that dude, because when you act like an idiot, I put your. The point of the matter is, we still need to stop. We still are such a entertainment. This is entertainment. We got to be with entertainment. I know what you said is right and correct, and it may help me a lot more than the other side, but you're not entertaining enough for me, so I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to go over here to this tent over here with the witches and everybody and listen to that guy before I listen to you.
And
that's society. That's not
the truth.
them
I mean,
not
people who
speaking
tell the
up.
truth
It's
are
like
often people who
I'm
tell the
sorry.
truth are often not listened to.
Well, I think a lot of that comes into
So there's people. Trust
like
me, there are
mess.
people. There are people out there saying, "No, these guys are idiots." But I agree with Marlon. I can't believe I just said that. I agree with Marlon. Nobody's paying attention to us, and I say us because I feel like I'm one of those people saying, "Hey, nah, this ain't all. No, we ain't all like this."
So to be fair, I think a lot of it is about the sense of urgency and how it comes across, and it is an imperfect view, because on one side you have literally the Christian Broadcasting Channel, you have Fox News, you have all these entities that are dedicated to pushing white nationalist version of Christianity. Like that's what they do. So they're going to be loud. They're going to be in your face. Controversy sells. So you end up with a Marjorie Taylor Greene and a Lauren Boebert out there saying some of the same stuff. So the cameras, So in all fairness, you don't have a fair shot at getting as loud. Let's just be real. But also, though, within our areas, now I don't go to church no more, but when I did, that wasn't something that nobody was talking about. You know what I'm saying? TD Jakes, he makes it a point not to get into it. You know what I'm saying? You got was it Olstein?
Again, you're talking about mega pastors, which I would never even count.
But I can't say that they. Well, I can't. Well, anyway,
they're
mega pastors, I don't want to just
non-confrontational.
Huh?
they're non-confrontational.
They may be, but they're non-confrontational with things that mess with their money. But then you have your local churches; they don't have the megaphone.
Yeah, they don't.
But
they're saying it, but who's listening?
Are they?
To them?
Maybe your pastor is. I'd have been to enough churches that one of the main reasons I left the church was I explained to the pastor, I love you and I love what you're doing here. But my biggest concern is that there's no call to action. There's no accountability that's really being driven as far as what it is to be this thing and to do this thing. And so that is why, in my opinion, you have had such a large drop-off of men between age 25 to 45. That window of men has left the church in large numbers because they don't see a purpose. It's you're hearing about something that happened 2,000 years ago, and it's like you're talking to me like all the miracles done happened, and they ain't gonna have no more miracles.
That's it. They done.
We ain't gonna have no more miracles. And the reason why we don't have no more miracles because God operates in mysterious ways. But you know what? My God is the God of the cosmos. My God is the God of all creation. My God is the God of it is, and it shall be until he says it's no longer, right? So you can't tell me. And this is how young dudes, I'm talking about young dudes. You can't tell us that our God only existed back there. And I'm supposed to just wait to die. That's my job. My job is to be a good boy and wait to die.
Yeah, who's ever telling you that kind of stuff?
No, that's not what they're saying to you. What I'm saying is that's the message that's getting delivered to a young man. Because the young man is not interested in only hearing about how to honor what has happened. Okay, I'm telling you, okay, because I talk to a lot of young men. That's one of the biggest reasons why the church is losing that grip. Now we come back. When we like 45, 50 years old, we come back then. But you're losing so much of the youth in the middle point because they're looking for how does this thing supposed to feel. Yeah, now, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying if somebody's telling you that, then that's their. Why am I listening to them?
There's what's being said, and then there's what's being communicated.
No, I'm saying if that's being communicated, whether it's directly saying it or inferring it or suggesting it or however you communicate, that's not going to be the church for me.
So if you go and see, that's great. But for all due respect, you may be receiving it a little different because I also come from a point of view that I don't even understand how women can be part of the Christian church because of how you guys are treated. But y'all have a different message you're receiving and how you're walking in that light. Okay. I'm talking specifically about young men.
Oh, well, yeah. I'm
never talk to them. Go talk to them. You don't even have to know if they've ever been to church because most of the times, if you're a young black person, you went to church. So
yeah, because mama done made you.
And find out why they don't go.
I got to shut this down a little bit, so we got to keep moving. But
it's supposed to be open.
I literally am with Thea's that you will notice that the survey has shown that for the first time in 50 years since doing this survey, that church attendance has got to 50%.
They're losing the young
and they're
people too.
And by the way, when I say church, I'm not saying church, synagogues, temples. It's across.
It's across the board.
Yep. Because these young people, man, I'm telling, and I'll shut up here. These young people have more information at their fingertips than any generation before them. So they are not interested in you just selling them on the here and after about how great it will be when you die. They're not interested in hearing about that because they're watching their elders, they're watching the adults, they're watching their parents, and they're seeing the blatant hypocrisy day in and day out. Your politics don't match your talk don't match your walk, your entertainment don't match your faith. Everything is a master mix of contradictions. And these young people are like, nah.
I still want to know what y'all talking about.
We're literally, Okay, and I apologize. We're gonna move forward.
Yeah, we keep saying we
He'll
gonna
keep
move.
putting stuff in my head that I want him to stop talking so I can move forward.
He
But
said he was gonna
yeah,
be quiet
how
in the
many
last
times
10
have we
seconds.
sat there and watched you as a pastor try to tell somebody to keep the faith, keep the promise, and love God and everything and stuff be like that, while you're walking around in an $80,000 car while you're preaching to people who catching the bus?
But who? Never mind. We say we moving.
I'm gonna move on.
I still want to know who these pastors are. I don't know. That's just my exposure.
I have
I'm like,
lucked
I
out.
literally
I
don't.
literally have lucked out and not been a member of a church of people like this. But Tracy, I have seen it. I have seen the pastor with a 2000. What year is it? 2022. I've seen the pastor with a 2022 new car with the wife with a 2021 car. And
Well,
it just
I'm not concerned about that car as much.
From pastor to first lady to deacon. I've seen it.
But I have been blessed that my family pastor, the one that was my pastor from age 16 to when I left the church, I don't know, 35 or so. Wonderful pastor. Wonderful. I never caught him doing anything contrary. But that's not to say I didn't watch the other adults around me. I didn't watch the deacons. I didn't watch the ministerial staff. I didn't see the power plays. So my point to you, Tracy, is you may not have seen it, and I am so thankful you have been able to completely skip that entire experience of seeing people not stand up and walk in their light. But it's a very common thing. So that is part of the image issue that not just the Christian church, but all of the major faiths are facing right now. And it's not just the black church. The white churches are losing their young people at alarming rates as well. People are just walking away.
All right, we're going to move on because the next three back to back is politics.
Without fail, every single Trump supporter be like,
2 + 2 = 6. And let me tell you why equals 6. Because look at this. There are 2 2s. So therefore, there is an additional 2 that no one talks about because the government.
Amen, sister. That's that hidden 2. And the FBI put it there.
I'm telling you.
Oh, child, that's every Trump support. That is.
I had one is a comment section on a YouTube video, and I said, the dude said something like the FBI, stole the election from Trump. And I said, man, you way out there, aren't you? So now it's the FBI? Because that's a new one, right? Everybody that the FBI wasn't the blame for stealing the election until last month.
Stole the election. It was the Vatican satellites. The people voted for
Jewish
Trump.
Space laser.
No, the people voted for Trump, and they sent it up to the Vatican space satellites. But because Biden is Catholic, it sent it down for Biden. I don't know why y'all don't know this.
You're
right, Tracy.
Both of y'all have said the same damn story. Every excuse that they came up with, the satellite, the laser thing that she didn't really say, but you did. And
Hugo Chavez.
Videos. Hugo Chavez, who's been dead for like 2,000 years now, but somehow, some way, he really we got Kennedy who done came back to life, who ain't Kennedy Jr., who
they ain't even like him.
Ever been in politics, ever. All of a sudden decided to come back be a Republican. And by the way, he decided and
Trump's vice president.
Let me rephrase something for you. Kennedy.
The Democrat, yeah.
The Democrat, not the Republican of Louisiana.
Let's just go a little deeper, Theus. The dynasty of the Kennedys is going to be vice president to fucking Trump?
Well, once he gets up out of the grave.
Mind?
Oh, that's right. He didn't really die. I forgot.
Mind? The Kennedy.
Yo, these are the same people who were saying that the people on the left, the evil libtards, were stealing voting machines and hacking into them. And the only people who have been caught with voting machines were Trump's people, who went and broke into voting machines here in Georgia, and another group of them took them to a conference where they were trying to hack into them and were paying people to break into them. This is the Republicans doing it. So I mean, we're dealing with a whole different set of people.
And I'm sorry, Parker. Don't forget that. That the Black Lives Matter was involved in it because they found 2 black people.
Yep, 2 whole black
in the
people
whole crowd.
Who's still in jail.
And that the prisons aren't in good enough condition to keep people in now.
You got that one done.
Oh.
I don't get that one. But
She was talking about when you were explaining how the election went down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you know what? Nope. I'm going to make that the last video because that should take us all the way to the end of the show. So, mic drop.
I don't know why you all get mad at people for identifying as something they're not. The United States identifies as a free country.
Ow!
So long as you have colonies, I'm sorry, territories, it's kind of hard to say that you're a free country.
Sorry. Not sorry. Yeah. You identify as a free country by systematically taking every liberty and freedom that you could think of because you don't agree with a group. Not a law, a group.
Hey, you know, it's American white.
What's
We're an imperfect union. We're an aspirational
How long we gonna
society.
be imperfect? We've been around for over 200 years. How long we gonna be imperfect?
We still it's
How long we
a
gonna
journey.
be experimental? The great experiment. How long we experiment?
Well, according to Joe Biden, it's going to be a long, because, you know, we the greatest country there ever is, wasn't ever going to be. So
He has to say that.
Yeah, of course he's the president. What are you gonna say? This country sucks.
Trump
And I'm
said
the
it.
Look,
Trump
this
literally
country sucks, and I'm the
said
president.
Yeah, but
America
he's not the measuring stick for what you're supposed to do.
Tracy,
But
what president has ever came on ever? This country suck rocks, and I'm the leader of it.
Trump.
Literally, Trump said,
He said that
is a
this
terrible
country is an embarrassment and this country
he
is
literally
going to
said that.
hell, but he is the one that will help restore America to its greatness. That's Trump.
That's where he came
And
up with
then
that
none
Make
of it.
America Great Again.
Yes.
That is a perfect segue. See
We
if I
done-
can find it.
Anna
again.
ain't said nothing. We done just chilled her out.
Susan, I didn't want to skip over your statement because that is a perfect segue into the last video of the night.
Because too often when we talk about race and racism, white Americans in particular are very quick, are we not, to tell people of color in particular who talk about the past and the weight of the past and the history of the past and the impact of the past. We are extraordinarily quick to look at them and say, why do you have to bring that up? That was a long time ago. Why can't we move on? Why can't we get over it? Now this, I beg to remind you, is precious coming from white people. Because there is nobody on this earth that loves the past more than white Americans. We absolutely adore it. We worship it. That's why the Tea Party said they wanted their country back. Back is a directional reference. And it does not point to the future. Right? That's why some folks made pretty little hats that said, "Make America Great Again." Make America Great Again. See, that's coming from people who think the past was this wonderful, splendid place, ignoring how unsplendid it was for millions of their countrymen and countrywomen. So white folks love the past. We just like the pretty part for us. We just like the part that makes us feel special, the part that makes us feel better, the part that makes us feel like our nation is the greatest nation ever struck off from the forehead of God Almighty. We just don't want to be burdened with the less pretty parts.
I hear organ music playing. I hear organ music
I
playing.
usually
Let me
I
just
like
add
Tim
to that
White.
real quick.
I watch a lot of his stuff. He's really good how he breaks things down, and I appreciate the fact that He is a white ally, activist, speaker, well researched, but he doesn't make the classic mistake of only talking that shit to us. See, I appreciate that. See, those are the kind of allies that I like, right? The ones that go talk that noise in front of your folk, right? Go say that in the uncomfortable rooms that it's not safe for me to go say it in. And see, Tim does that. So I appreciate it. For all the criticism people give Tim, that's one thing I do like.
When they sit there, always want to sit there, and I'm speaking from a black perspective.
And Jane Elliott.
When they want to sit there and say, please stop talking about slavery, it's going to make poor little Timmy feel bad about himself and all this other stuff. It is. I'm sorry. I'm not even trying to be funny, but that's the whole thing is don't teach critical race theory in school, which we never done. You just caught a couple of words and figured that all this time we've been teaching it in elementary, junior high, and high school, even though you went through elementary, junior high, and high school and not once took a class of critical race theory, you blithering morons. But we're going to move on for the fact that you don't want to teach slavery in schools at all because you don't want to make Timmy feel bad about themselves. However, you have absolutely, positively no problem taking that same little Timmy on a school trip to go see Civil War monuments of slave owners fighting in wars and everything else that has something to do with the Great South.
I got a new angle for you. When people, because I had an African dude tell me, well, don't start that slavery talk again. I'm like, oh, come on, bro. Now, don't even talk to me no more. Like, that was literally what I told him. I said, don't say nothing else to me no more because I'm going to put my hands on you. But, fine, you don't want to talk about slavery? Okay. I'll tell you what, because I think that if you want to get somewhere, sometimes you got to give up something to get to where you're trying to go. Fine. We're not going to talk about slavery. So instead, let's talk about Reconstruction and Jim Crow. We'll do that. Let's walk through that. We'll save slavery for high school and college. Let's do that. Let's move slavery out there because it's so emotionally charged. Let's do that. Let's start with Reconstruction and Jim Crow. Let's talk about strange fruit. Let's talk about the black codes. Let's talk about the concentration camps that y'all masqueraded as prisons. Let's talk about the vagrancy laws. Let's talk about not being able to own property. Let's talk about the FHA actually helping to mandate where people could live and couldn't live. Let's talk about how the ghettos actually were structured and developed, how they were actually for white people and then they became for us. Let's talk about all of that. Can we do that?
No, that's too negative.
Let's go a little further, Theas. Let's talk about Tulsa, Oklahoma. Let's talk about.
Talk about everything that happened.
Hold on. Let me think about this. Let's think about this. I want everybody, if you don't know, I want you right now, if you're near a computer, I want you right now to look up Central Park. You know that big park that's in New York City that everybody loves to walk through? Now, what I want you to do is type this in any kind of way that you want to. And I want you to look up exactly what Central Park was before it was Central Park.
Yep.
Let's talk about that.
No, that's too. That makes
See,
them
the
feel bad.
deal was that dude was absolutely correct. And I know I went on a rant about it. You want to reap the rewards of history, and then you want to erase it. Why? Because you got what you wanted. But you don't want little Timmy. You don't want little Susan. You don't want anybody in the next generation to know exactly how you got there. Of whatever way, shape, or form that you want. Yeah. America has always been like that. America has paid off the Japanese during World War II when you systematically figured I'm going to throw every Japanese American in jail because I don't know what the hell was going on, but I sure as hell ain't taking no chances. And then we will go and bomb a completely different country. And by the way, now that we done bombed you, let's rebuild it in our image.
No, there's a lot of good stuff. That's why I'm saying let's work out that compromise, because all of the things you just touched on, and all the things, just walk them from 1868, or you can even go, to 1870, right? Go 1870 and move that puppy all the way to 1968, and just teach all the things that happened in that window of time. And now we don't have to talk about slavery. We can
there is a reason why it can't be taught, because people don't want it. They only want the good part, the three good things that happen.
I'm really not making a
there's
deal
no
about it.
age appropriate way. There's no
Exactly.
age appropriate way to teach slavery, Jim Crow, Japanese internment, any of that to a first grader. I'm sorry. That's just not okay. Because what did we come away with when they tried to teach some form of history at that time frame? We got the fake story of the Pilgrims, right? So
yeah, they all sat together at a long table and ate
Columbus
food.
was a genius.
So that's
And history
where I
has already
agree.
proven that Columbus was a blittering moron.
That's
brought
where
his
I can find
TVs
some
to the
agreement with the people on the right. Now they're functioning out of hysteria and ignorance. But once again, what is it that you really want? Do you want to get somewhere in this situation? So let's figure out what we can give and what we can't give, right? So I can give you, we won't touch any history, none, zero, before they're in third grade, zero, right? And then we start teaching them age appropriate to move forward. I can give you that. I can even give you, like I said, it'll be a really hard negotiation, but I can give you the slavery thing, as long as we're going to talk about the other parts, right? Because if we're able to focus on that window of time I was talking about, guess who all is in there? Japanese internment is in there, right? Women's rights is in there. The beginnings of the gay struggle is in there. Like, it's all in there. So,
indigenous populations not having the right to vote in there.
Forced, what's the term where they were sterilization?
Yeah, forced
It's in there.
sterilization.
Right? So let's do it.
And that's the deal. What we're saying, Mickey, is
And how you gonna ban the teaching of the Trail of Tears in Native American
no,
land?
I can explain it. I can explain it.
They
I can
want to
explain it.
ignore it. They
I
didn't
can
do
explain
it.
it.
Oklahoma just popped up, and there it was one day. It just sat there.
Because the fact of the matter is, we still in a country that just okay. I'm changing everything that I'm finna say. We live in a country where we are saying that we are the best country in the United States on the understanding that we've never done anything wrong. Anything that we did do wrong was very, very minimum.
And we're not gonna talk about it.
And
we
the only
apologize
reason
when we
why
did
we
it.
ever fought in any type of war is because it was their fault, not our fault. And we was trying to help. See, that is what the history of the United States is built on. I want everybody, when you get a chance, to look up fucking Andrew Jackson. This was a devil incarnated. This dude was effing nuts. We got him on money.
Yep, and they got the nerve to put Harriet Tubman on the back. Like, ooh,
So-
that's gonna make up for it.
So that is the United States. They don't want to teach. Because just like this guy said, what was his name again, Theus?
Which one? What?
The last guy that we just saw. We just saw him a few minutes ago.
Oh, Tim White.
Tim White. Just like what Tim White was saying was, we live in a society where we have to make sure that we go back to the good old days, make America great again, take our country back again, and all this other stuff. But we have to make sure that we take them back and make that great. We are making sure that it's the bits and pieces of the United States that we, as a white community or the rich community, really, really enjoyed.
But see, the
And
problem that
profit
we
off
have,
of.
the problem we have in this, Marlon, is to me, it's quite simple. We oftentimes start the discussion from like a really bad place, and so like what Tim was hitting on is like you kind of walk people through it. It's like when people say "Make America Great Again," you have to get them one-on-one, because we've seen in a group that it's just one soundbite after another. But on one-on-one, you can just say, okay, you want to make America great again. Like, this is where you try to get into them, right? So what does that mean to you? And then if you can get them to answer that, you say, so that kind of reminds me of, say, and you just pick a time, the 50s, right? And if they say, yeah, that's when we had good family values, blah, 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 because in their mind, they're thinking about Back to the Future, right? And then you say, okay, what was life like if you were Black? What was life like if you were Latino? What was life like? Where do they factor in that story? See, you got to get people to start thinking and work through it. But my problem is this: even though I think I have the skill set to work with people on that level, I don't have the energy for it.
I don't have the energy for it anymore.
So, but for the people
I can literally
who do,
look at somebody and tell them what was life like when you was back then if you was a woman.
But I'm just saying,
and remember, you was just a secretary. That was your
one
job.
Of the gifts of someone like, say, Anna actually has this gift. Well, she'll work with you and help deconstruct and walk through that stuff. Even though I think I have the ability, I don't have the patience. So I just don't want to. I'd rather just be like, you know what? I'm going to take y'all and I'm going to dump you in this big ass bucket. And I understand that everybody doesn't fit in this bucket, but right now I got stuff to do. So you're going to sit in this bucket. Those of you who ain't supposed to be in the bucket, sort that out amongst yourselves. We got work to do. I ain't got time to sit here and try to straighten y'all out. Do your thing. I'm working over here. But that's not to say that the work doesn't still need to be done. Right? The work is valuable. The work still needs to be done. I'm just not the one to do it. It sounds like somebody that died. What is this? Okay, I recognize that.
Yeah,
Tracy, didn't that sound like we had walked into like a funeral parlor or something? I don't know.
Oh, God.
Looking for the mints on the table.
Anna, please tell everybody where they can find you so I can get this dude off of here. Borrelia.
Oh, she spelled okay.
I know.
I love it.
So what she said, for people who don't do sign language, please see her at Borrelia, etc. Oh my God. Because I figured out where the static was coming from. That's why. Oh,
Hi guys.
She said she thought it was her microphone or headset.
Yeah. So just in case anybody don't know, it's Borrelia.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
You were real low for a second.
You real low.
Can you hear me now?
Turn the music down.
Or now that I'm actually unmuted and can speak, I can do it myself.
Okay.
Borrelia, etc. BORRELIAETC.com. All platforms you can find me.
Oh God, my sound language must be real bad. It sounded like he was saying Borrelia. You can find me at Borrelia, etc. And if you don't like that, go fuck yourself. But I thought, but my sign
Marlon
language,
muted me. Like,
but my sign language is not the best, so I was probably off. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you were a little off there, dog.
I couldn't unmute myself.
Hey, y'all can find me on complexsimpleman.com. Appreciate y'all.
TracyMediaLLC.com, all platforms.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, non-conforming individuals, that is our show for tonight. Please do not forget to hit that like button on the way out the door. I would truly appreciate it. Please do not forget that we will be back next week with Saturday Night Vibes at every Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will also be back next Sunday. I'm sitting there talking smack while I'm trying to get through here so I can find the exit, but there you go. Please do not forget that we will be back next Sunday for Radical Truth to Power at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until next time, we will see you when we see you. Peace.